Okay, here's a figured I'd do a review on this Lee bench mount priming system. It something they just come out with this year. I've been messing with it for a while, and yeah, I'll tell you right now, it's got its quirks. I got it working pretty good. I mean, it puts them in there okay. But I suppose, like anything else from Lee, you got to fiddle with it a little. Back here, it came with a rubber O-ring on it. I couldn't get the thing to work for anything. It wouldn't. You really had to push hard to get it to feed in, and then it wouldn't drop. The primer wouldn't drop down in there. And I got to looking around, and Lee, I guess they said they over-engineered it. Hard to believe Lee would over-engineer anything. And I'm sorry, but I took it apart and took that off, and it started working really well. As far as feeding them down in there, it still has its problems, just like the old Loadmaster here, with wanting to flip a primer once in a while. And as you can see, Lee's shell holders has always Lee's shell holders have always had something to be desired. You see how that clicked in really hard, but then now it's looser than a goose. It'd be the same thing coming out. And I don't know, it's just all the different manufacturers of brass. I usually use, on single stage stuff, I usually get different shell holders. Most of the time Lee's stuff is okay with the shell holders, but I don't like their 9mm, because it's the 9mm and 40. You make a shell holder that holds a 40 Smith & Wesson, and then the 9mm is loose. So I just went out and bought some RCBS shell holders. They don't do multiple caliber stuff. But yeah, see, I got it. It took me a while to get it working, I'm not gonna lie. And this new tray, primer tray that they come up with, honestly, I really wish that it just stayed with the old one. In theory, I suppose it seemed like a really good idea. I just I don't like it. Once you get it set and working, it works good. But man, do you have to mess with this thing to get it. It wants to flip open on you. The lock thing here doesn't like to stay, and you have to have it pulled too far down towards the open section to get the primers not to fall out. And then when you're right there on the edge, then the next thing you know, this thing, since it's just plastic and folds, it flips open and primers go flying everywhere. I do like the feel of the lever. I've always liked that. With the press, I just thought I won this in a 10,000 scribe contest, and I was like, oh man, I get the speed and the leverage that I want. And hey, there's another one. And the way I do my 223, the way I size them, or excuse me, cut them to length, I have to do it without the primers in it. and then I rewash them and stuff, so I have to do priming separately. And to set the press back up, it just wasn't, I was always looking for something better. But you'll see here when I start to run out of primers, I'll reload the tray for you, and you'll see what kind of a pain it is. Now watch, I'll do it on camera and the sucker will work perfect. I mean, when it's working, this thing is great. I mean, no effort. Seats primer is really good. When it's going, it's going. You got to make sure there's this little spring that I'll show you when I'm reloading the tray. It's kind of finicky. If you don't do it right, you look at all the videos and stuff and they show you just pushing the tray down on it and letting the spring go up in there. I found I have to pull the spring back out of the way, turn this on, and I get a good positive click up. Then I push the spring in and kind of push it down, and then when you do your first thing, it seems to set itself, and then you get good positive lift for your primers. And it does still have a tendency of flipping inside, because you are, I'll show you. Let me get all the primers out of there. Okay, they're all gone. I'll unhook it. When you I don't know if you can see that. When it lifts up, it pushes the spring up, which makes sure that this part is lifted up all the way, and then the primers are in here, and they slip in a groove on that piece of plastic that's coming up, and as it lifts up, the gravity lets the primer slip down in, and then on the inside here, let me take the shell holder out, which isn't always a piece of cake either. Which doesn't bother me too much because I'm only going to use this for one caliber. Well, let me get back into focus. There's a bar that comes up right here, right in there. You can see the bar, and that catches the primer when it's coming down and keeps it from going into the punch. And then when you lower it down, the punch, it slips into the punch and is ready for the next one. Okay. What the heck is going on? I don't know what happened to my camera here. What did I do? Hold on a minute.